My name is Charlotte Whitford. Throughout my youth, that name was spoken as a symbol of purity, discipline, and continuity. The only daughter of the Duke of Whitford, I was raised to represent stability, honor, and obedience. The tightness of the corset and the weight of the family jewels were constant reminders that even my breathing belonged to the state, not to me. From an early age, I learned that, in Victorian society, a woman like me was not born to choose. We were born to comply. Every gesture of mine was observed, every word measured, every step calculated to preserve an impeccable image. I existed more as a promise than as a person. I was a painting framed in gold, admired by many, but inhabited by no one. Even so, I fell in love. It was not a childish impulse, nor reckless rebellion. It was a slow, deep, devastating feeling. A love that grew in silence until it became impossible to contain.
As this story unfolds, grant us your favor, stay within our circle, and keep watch, and tell us, where do you think this path will lead?
His name was Thomas Hale, and everything about him contradicted the world to which I belonged. He was of low class, a laborer, invisible to the eyes of the nobility, and absolutely impossible for me to ignore. I met Thomas near the docks on a cloudy afternoon while accompanying an inspection that did not require my presence. The smell of wet wood and iron hung heavy in the air. He was unloading goods with other men, his simple shirt marked by effort, his hands calloused, his gaze steady. When he spoke to me for the first time, he did not bow, did not rush to apologize, did not show fear. He spoke to me as if I were simply a woman. That disarmed me in a way no formality ever had. His voice had the texture of the ground he walked on, real, solid, and unadorned. I returned the next day. Then the next. I began inventing excuses, altering schedules, deceiving maids. With each meeting, my silent world gained color. Thomas listened to me with genuine attention. He laughed with me. He asked what I thought, not what I was supposed to think. In his eyes, I was not a title or a political strategy. I was Charlotte. A woman. Present. Desired. I fell in love with him with the intensity only someone imprisoned can feel. I fell in love with the way he said my name, with the careful way he offered me his worn coat when the cold set in, with the simple courage of existing without asking permission from anyone. Loving Thomas was not a mistake, it was an awakening. For the first time, my heart beat for something that had not been decided by others. We began meeting in hidden places, far from society's eyes. Abandoned warehouses, forgotten gardens, service corridors where a princess should never be. Restrained kisses turned into whispered promises. His arms were my only refuge. With him, I felt whole, alive, real. I loved him, deeply, desperately, without reserve. The danger of being discovered was only a whisper compared to the cry of life I felt at his side. When I realized my body had changed, I tried to deny it. I adjusted dresses, held my breath, prayed it was only imagination. But the truth imposed itself without mercy. I was pregnant. I felt no shame. I felt fear, not of love, but of the world. I carried within me the child of the man I loved, the child of Thomas Hale. I told him on a cold night, under a dim light that barely illuminated our faces. He remained silent for long seconds, then held my face with an almost painful tenderness, as if I were something sacred. He said he loved me. He said he would run away with me, that he would work until his bones bled, that he would face anything for us. For the first time, I imagined a simple life, without crowns, without gilded walls, without constant fear, a free life. But I knew that fleeing would mean scandal, persecution, ruin, perhaps even death for him. My love for Thomas was so great that I could not bear the idea of seeing him destroyed because of me. To love in that world was a risk that always fell more heavily on those with less power. I preferred to live a lie in a palace than to carry the weight of his death on my conscience. My father discovered everything before I could decide. I was summoned to his office on a silent morning. The Duke of Whitford did not shout. He did not need to. He spoke of honor, of scandal, of lineage. He spoke as if my body were violated territory, a threat to the order he had sworn to protect. The sound of his signet ring striking the oak table echoed like a judge's gavel sealing my fate. Then he presented the solution, as if it were a favor. I would immediately marry Prince Henry Ashcombe. Everything happened too quickly. Invitations rushed out, rehearsed smiles, discreet justifications. Henry was polite, distant, proper. A man shaped for alliances, not for feelings. On the day of the ceremony, the lace veil weighed on my face like a shroud for the woman I once had been. On the wedding night, he did not touch me. He merely said in a low voice that he understood more than he appeared to, and that our arrangement would be maintained with mutual respect. Our marriage was born of convenience, sustained by silence. Thomas disappeared. I never knew whether he was removed by my father's order or whether he chose to leave to spare me. I never heard his voice again, but every night when I placed my hand on my womb, I knew he still existed within me, in my blood, in my heart, in the life growing silently inside me. Every kick of the baby was a secret message only the two of us understood. Henry fulfilled his promise with impeccable, almost solemn dedication. Over time, I came to understand that my secret was, in truth, his salvation. Henry carried the burden of being unable to give the kingdom an heir, a void that threatened his own position and the continuity of his lineage. I fit perfectly into the role he needed, the flawless wife who brought with her the solution to his greatest vulnerability. By accepting my child as his own, he secured his place on the throne, and in return, he gave me the protection of his crown. We were two strangers bound by a necessary lie, each serving as the other's shield in a world that would not forgive our weaknesses. Today, I am known as Princess Charlotte Ashcombe, a respectable wife, an admired mother, an exemplary figure of society. But that is only the official story. The real one, the one never written in books nor whispered in salons, belongs to the woman who loved a forbidden man, who chose to feel even when everything demanded silence. Sometimes, when I look at my son, I see Thomas's firm, honest light in his eyes, and the palace suddenly feels less cold. I loved Thomas Hale, not despite everything, but against everything. And deep in my heart, where neither crowns nor conventions can reach, I hold a certainty that time has not erased. One day, I hope to meet him again, not as a dream or a memory, but as destiny. I will meet him again. And this time, no crown will be heavy enough to keep us apart.
If this tale has pleased your heart, grant us your favor and stand beside us.
And if you wish to hear many more, join us and keep watch for what comes next.